Welcome back to another episode of the Construction Business Blueprint YouTube channel. So today we're going to change things up slightly from the norm. We're not going to be talking about day-to-day construction problems or whatever else. We're going to talk about how to keep your energy up in peak season because your energy affects everything. So I'm going to ask you something that might sound a bit off for this channel, because again, this is a business channel for construction business owners, but I want to ask a question, and it's how are you actually feeling right now? So it is peak season. So I want to talk about not the business, I want to talk about you, the business owner. Are you tired? Exhausted? The kind where you wake up already counting down to the weekend, you're kind of going, you wake up in the morning and go, I can't wait till this day's over before it's even started. You're constantly snapping at the team over things that normally wouldn't bother you. And you're bringing that into the home too. So when you're, making decisions at 4 PM that aren't your best work, or you're just leaving things until the next day because you're just hoping that you wake up tomorrow and tomorrow's a better day. If any of that rings true, this matters more today than any system or any process or any hire that I could talk about, because a tired owner, an expensive owner, we're bringing it back to business, you're leaking profit, but you're leaking time, energy and profit, everything there, and it filters down throughout the whole team. And it's not a soft statement, it is a commercial one, it's a pretty big deal, to be honest, let's face it. So let's talk about the actual physical toll of peak season in the summer here for most construction business owners, and we'll be straight about it. Construction is peak season. It can be relentless, and for many reasons. You've got team that you're filling in for, things are closed, you're trying to prepare for holidays, you're trying to take time off, which sometimes leaves us behind, or you're trying to make up for lost time, or you're trying to prepare for lost time. So it's usually a time where you're getting pulled from pillar to post for most of us across the whole industry. You're on site early in the morning, you're in the office late, quotes on your phone at night time, dealing with clients, you name it. It's just, it is a pretty fully packed schedule as always. So it's just been a fully jam-packed schedule since maybe April or May, and it will stay like that relentlessly right through to probably September. Let's even talk about the dad. Your dad's been whatever you could grab between site visits. You've had maybe 4 or 5 proper nights sleep in the last month. A lot of those nights staring at the ceiling, worrying about projects, worrying about this person's off or this person's leaving, or trying to get projects finished. And you keep going because the work's there, the money's coming in, and stopping or taking any sort of time out feels like a weakness. It feels like you're losing out, or the business is losing out. But it's not a weakness. It's your body telling you something, it needs to be fixed, or something needs to happen. There's a difference between pushing through a tough week and just running on empty for 3 months straight. So we don't often see what the impact of that is, just pushing through, but it's more detrimental than you think. And we're going to talk about it further on in this video, what impact it actually has on the business. But let's talk about what actually works and how we can actually start to fix that. We're going to keep it simple. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you to meditate or do ice baths or whatever else, okay? So this is still a business channel. It's not a health and fitness channel. But look, let's talk about the basics. Sleep. 7 hours at least, non-negotiable. Everything you do the next day, decision quality, patience, leadership of team, spotting problems before they escalate, even dealing with a client, all of that depends on it, how you sleep. I protect sleep, like a meeting that I can't cancel. If I don't have a good night's sleep, I underperform the next day. It has an impact on the business. So rather than thinking I'm going to stay up late tonight and do the quotes, you're better off cutting off at a certain time, dropping the screen, and we're going to talk about the phone in a minute, but having a better night's sleep and getting up early in the morning and starting fresh is much better. And many times that I've looked back on the work that I've done the night before, and it looked like a different language. It's been awful. So you're putting out mediocre stuff, and the business is going to be impacted because of it. How do we help that as well? Have a cutoff on the phone. I know it's easy to be sitting talking to the lads about the problems on site, talking with the clients about what's going on that day, doing pricing in the evening, but you need to have a cut off at some time in the evening. For most of us, we're getting up early, so phone off at 9 PM. And I know that may be difficult, but no screens, no sitting scrolling, looking at shit that's going on. No, you need to get the work out of your head. You need to actually shut it down. Try to just sit with nothing, either read a book, go for a walk, or just lie in bed and try to get to sleep early. The phone is having a serious impact on your brain. Even if you're not doing any physical work and you're just sitting scrolling, that will affect your sleep big time. Another one that really helps me personally and has helped me a lot over the years is taking a break away from the desk during the day. So I know you might think getting up or from site, whatever it may be for you, but even just having set times in the day like you used to before you were out in business. You had a break at 10 AM, you had another break at 1 PM, and then you're shutting off at a certain time of the day. So this whole let's build through, let's charge through, that's affecting the team. They're not going to be happy with that. Or even if you're bulling on, you're driving in between, you're getting the 10 o'clock tea break and you go, now's a good time to go to the suppliers. Take the time out, guys. Literally go for a dander, go for a walk, sit and have food with, off the site. Get yourself away from site, get yourself away from the desk, get yourself away from the phone. Take some time out, have something to eat, recharge, even if it's just for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. That's going to make a big difference in your day. Trust me, it's going to change your energy levels, it's going to change your thinking, it's going to clear the brain, and you're going to perform much, much better. I know some of you may have been thinking that I was going to say something massively overcomplicated, but let's face it, it's the basics that work. Done consistently through a busy summer, it changes how you show up. Being non-negotiable with certain things, even if it is just, continuing with the training, going for a run in the evening, doing something for you, clearing the brain, that's what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to keep you active and keep you the person you need to be and the owner you need to be for your business. So like I said, we're going to talk about why this matters. Your energy sets the tone, not just for you personally, but for your whole team. Your team reads your energy every single day. Your clients read the energy every single day. You walk on site confident, sharp, clear on what's needed. Your team picks up on that. If you're there, you're leading the team, you've got everything in control. Problems are getting raised early. The day moves. People take ownership. The flip side of that is you're walking on site. You're frazzled. You're tired. You're distracted. You're making poor decisions. You're forgetting what you're even saying. You're not even dealing with clients. You're maybe even just trying to ignore the phone because you're pissed off. The team, everybody will shut down. They'll perform as you perform. So it has a massive impact. It is literally like a wavelength through your business, and everybody in every aspect of it will be impacted. So the owner's energy really sets the standard. So another good tip for this is, no matter how the days went, if you haven't had time to have your break, if you haven't had time to take some time away from the site in the perfect world, have a daily reset. And it's about breaking the sort of spiral or putting the line in the sand, like I always say. When things get busy and things get stressful, most business owners, all they do is they bury their head in their sand and they push harder, they push further until things are done. Longer hours, skipping lunch, you'll catch up maybe at the weekend, and it feels productive, but it usually isn't. Again, it's time, energy, and decision leaks. All big problems, major problems for the business, and again, everybody feels it. If you can do anything, do this: a 5-minute daily reset every single day. Either sit down with the team or just with yourself in the van, in the office, wherever it may be. It's always good to fill in the team and have just literally ask yourselves, okay guys, what happened today? What's generally urgent for tomorrow? What needs to happen? What's one thing, that I'm not going to let drain my time tomorrow? What's one thing that can make tomorrow easier? Or what's one thing that I can do to make your lives easier? Really sit down for 5 minutes and just think about it. Or even if it's in every site, just sit down and think about every project for 5 minutes. And it stops the constant feeling that everything's on fire, because you've actually looked at it and separated it from the real noise. So just again, drawing the line in the sand and thinking, okay, how did today actually go? Having that review. And again, we have the daily diary. I've went through the daily diary several times on this channel. It's something my clients have every single day. And it is just a quick sit down and review of the day, drawing the line in the sand, go, how did today actually go? What could I have done better? What could the team have done better? And how do we plan tomorrow to make sure that tomorrow is better than today? It may seem airy-fairy, but it has a massive impact on the business. Just taking that wee reset really makes all the difference. So like I said, better energy equals better decisions and equals better margins. So we can't always see it, but how you show up really, I can't stress enough, impacts the business massively. Even talk about it in terms of how you're showing up to site. If you're turned up pissed off, you're tired, how do you think your team feels? They're going to underperform. They're not going to perform to somebody who's shouting, bawling, or can't be annoyed. They're going to perform to your level. Same with clients. If you're short with clients, you've no time for them, you don't have the time or patience to stand and speak to them, they're going to feel that, and it's going to damage their reputation. Even during your own work, if you're cramming everything in the night and you're just pushing on, you're trying to do quotes, you're trying to get back to clients, everything's going to be impacted. And that's all costing the business in so many ways than you can imagine. Reputation, the team, everything, even on your next project. So how you're feeling today could affect the project you've just priced in 3 months' time. So we don't always see it, but you need to kind of have that level of awareness and think, how can I improve this? So protecting your energy, protecting how you show up matters more than you could ever imagine. So let's just get it clear before we close. I'm not actually asking you to work less. Again, we're not talking about ice baths and meditation. I'm asking you to show up better. It's more about having a level of awareness, and trying to protect your time and energy to make sure that you're showing up better for you and for the business. So pick one thing from today, sleep an hour more, put the phone down at night, making sure you're getting to bed on time, having breaks away from the site, away from the van, not trying to fill your break times with dealing with clients or dealing with other projects or doing whatever. Actually taking a half an hour, 30 minutes, whether it may be a dander or a walk or whatever it may be, having a coffee and just sitting thinking and planning for tomorrow. That's going to impact the business massively, and it's going to get you through the busiest season ahead.